Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to drop down a few tiers to tier 6 to have a look at this tank right here, the Jackson. Now, the Jackson doesn't actually get much love, mainly because the counterpart to this, which is the Hellcat, is just considered better in pretty much every single way. It does look better. The Hellcat is amazing. The Hellcat really is amazing. With 2,467 DPM, is one of the best in tier 6s. Now, the Jackson only has 2,138. But playing the Jackson, you know, it's still good. It is still a decent tank. Obviously not as good. The reload is 6.3 seconds. Penetration 175. 243 on your APCR and 45 on your HE. So you'll get through most things. You've got a 220 alpha gun, 190 on your APCR, 270 on your HE. Your aim time is 3.4 seconds. Dispersion is 0.317. So yeah, it's okay. It's pretty average. And it does have 10 degrees of gun depression. The top speed is 40 kilometers per hour. So a lot of people, myself included, like, there is no reason really to play the Jackson. I mean, yes, it's got a little bit more armor profile. The armor profile was okay, and it's a tank that tier 5s come up against you. You are able to actually get some bounces, but when you're against tier 7s, you're not really gonna bounce too much. Now, of course, it's the M36 Valor. If you do run this legendary camouflage that has actually been around for a very long time, like a very long time. This legendary camouflage was around before a legendary camouflages even existed. Yes, I'm telling the truth. It's been around for years and years and years. So yeah, I mean, of course, there are a couple of downfalls with the tank. The armor profile, as I've said, is okay, but you're not going to bounce too much. You can get more bounces in this than you can the Hellcat. But I just think, you know, the Hellcat, even without its armor, is still better in every way. The speed is much better. The DPM is much better. It looks much better. I think the camouflage is much better. So the Hellcat is actually like a lot more enjoyable to play than the Jackson. So for that reason, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. If you don't realize where I'm getting that from, of course, Outcast. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Yeah, it's a good song, actually. It's a very good song. But I still think it's a decent tank, and it still could it could still have some love. The only thing that I find really bad with this tank is the turret traverse. I mean, it's an okay tank with the speed wise. I just think that the turret traverse is really slow, and you can actually really feel this. Now, also, what I would probably suggest for Wargaming to eventually do, of course, you've got a tank like the Hellcat, no armor whatsoever, but it goes 60 plus kilometers per hour, and it has extreme DPM. And then you've got this tank, which is its counterpart, another tier 6, the same tech tree, that should be like the opposite. It should be slower, but the armor profile should be a lot more. In my opinion, that's the only thing I would change. I would keep the DPM. The DPM is absolutely fine how it is, but I like the speed. Also, I do like the speed, but if I was going to change the tank in any way, I would actually give it less speed, but more armor. Make that armor very strong. You know, at least then you've got two completely opposite tanks to grind in the tech tree. Both tier 6s, both pretty much in the same tech tree, and you can pick either this tank or you can pick the Hellcat. Now, at the moment, no one's going to choose this tank to grind. Like I said, the Hellcat is just better in almost every single way. But, you know, and this is where we were talking about a couple of videos ago about rebalancing, and Wargaming should rebalance tanks to make them more, you know, unique and people to grind them, because right now people are not going to grind this tank, the Jackson. Like, why grind it when you could just grind the Hellcat and have much more fun? Albeit, of course, if you are in a Hellcat and you meet a tank that's got a big gun like a KV2 or a Smasher or an SU-152 or anything like that, then yeah, you're going to get absolutely torn apart. You're going to get ripped and you're going to be sent straight back to the garage. But the Hellcat is a really, even without the armor, it is a really, really fun tank to play. And considering I haven't played this tank for years, I thought, you know what, I haven't give this tank any love whatsoever over the last few years, like none at all. And just there, it's very, you can see the traverse, and it is very, very slow. And yeah, okay, if they're going to keep the traverse like that, then make the whole tank slower, but just up that armor profile. That is just one thing that I personally would love to see. So you've got one quick as hell tank with no armor, and then you've got one slow as hell tank but with a lot of armor. That is personally what I would love to see. So what's your thoughts on the Jackson? I mean, it's still, when you do play, it is still a nice tank. Obviously, we've just got ripped there from behind. You've got to remember, it is an American tank. Even if it has armor frontally or on the turret, you're not going to get any. You're not going to get any armor from the rear. So just do bear that in mind. So yeah, I would just love to see it have more armor. Maybe make it a little bit slower. So let me know your thoughts. Is this a tank that you play? Is it a tank that you really, really love? And is it a tank that you've never played and you've never been interested? Let me know what your thoughts are on this tank and how you would change it. Not so much buff it, but how you would change it. Because I don't think it needs buffing as such. I just think it needs to be changed. So people actually grind this tank and want to play it. And not only that, but you can either play the Hellcat or you can play the Jackson, because they'll be two completely different tanks. As it is, they're not two completely different tanks. They still play very, very similar when it comes to play style, but that is what I would like to see. I would like to see it change so you can play them both tanks completely different to one another. So like I said, let me know your thoughts, how you would change this tank, if you would change it all. No, some people are going to be out there, no, it doesn't need changing, just leave it as it is. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. So far, we are going to get rid of the AT-15A. I am now on my own, and of course, I did want to get rid of him because he has insane DPM. I mean, I've got good DPM, but that guy in the AT-15A has absolutely insane DPM. Good armor profile as well. So clearing him was an absolute must. So now it's just me and this light tank. Now, I'm in no rush to attack this guy. As long as I keep base A, we're on 800 supremacy points. So obviously I want to stop him capping this base, and then I want him to come to me. I'm not going to chase him, because if I do get caught out of guard, then he will be able to clear me with one clip. So I do need to be very, very careful. Even though he's only on 6 HP, I still need to be very careful that I aim my shot and I don't miss, because if I miss, he will be able to get around me, release his clip and get the win. But he's the one that made the the mistake, and I did get the victory. So 2,700 damage, both battles there. So 2 battles, and both battles were 2,700. So you can still perform in the tank. And again, I'm not saying that you can never perform in these tanks. I'm just saying that I think it does deserve a little change. So Wargaming, do change the Jackson. You know, you want to rebalance these tanks to make them more enjoyable to play. You want to rebalance these tanks so people actually grind these and play these. Then also rebalance these lower tier tanks as well. Don't just look at the tier 8s, the tier 9s, the tier 7s. There are some people out there that do like to play the lower tier tanks as well. Tier 6 is a good tier. Tier 7 is a good tier. So make sure that you give these tanks some love as well. So let me know, again, as I've said 20 times, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I will catch you all soon. Bye-bye. With